Welcome back to the Here's the Deal channel. Here's the deal. The last three words you hear before tyranny comes down upon your cranial structure. Today we're going to talk about some police comes down upon your cranial structure.
Hold on.
Today we're going to talk about some police comes down upon your cranial structure.
Hold on.
Today we're going to talk about some police comes
Sorry,
down
guys.
upon your cranial structure.
Hold on.
Today we're going to talk about some police.
Sorry, guys.
Sorry about that. Holy cow. Let's start over. Welcome back to the Here's the Deal channel. Man, I hate when I have extra. I got like a gazillion tabs open, so I apologize about that. Definitely want to make it a good listener experience for you. What's up, Ransom, John Eagle, Wayward Son, Dr. Evils, Utah Cop Watch. Thank you guys for joining. Brandy's here. I want to talk about a couple things here. That right there is Carl Miller. We may talk about that in a separate video on another day, but I wanted to talk about this officer right here and the Dallas Police Department. This is Sergeant John Matthew Martinez. It's in the news in the last week that he and his Thin Blue Line gang members, you can see the feet hanging out the window right here, beating this man's feet 133 times. A guy who's got hip problems, a guy who is placed in the back of a patrol car having committed no crime, and they get a suspension that is rescinded by the commanding officer. We're going to take a look at this. 133 times. If that's not psychopathic, I don't know what is. Let's take a look at this.
This is CBS News, Texas.
You know, to keep from crying, I tell jokes or laugh at it. It's, I guess I'm still dealing with it.
An exclusive all new for you story here at 10, unnecessary and unauthorized. That is what an internal Dallas police
and unconstitutional and unconscionable and criminal
investigation is calling what you see here. A man hit more than 100 times with a police baton on his feet. Officers say Cedric Cheely's failure to obey commands is what ignited the use of force. With that is where we start here at 10 o'clock. I'm Nicole Baker. The man is now suing 4 Dallas police officers who were disciplined until interim police chief Michael Igo rescinded it. Now, we do want to give you a fair warning. Parts of the story may be tough to watch, may be tough to take in, but our Marvin Hurst begins his exclusive examination into the use of force.
Dallas police get a call for an active shooter in far north Dallas, 18,900 Dallas Parkway. It's after 2 a.m. Police body cam video obtained by CBS News Texas show officers arriving at a strip mall parking lot.
You got somebody shooting out here, man?
No, ain't nobody shooting. Go through the armed encounter as well.
Somebody calling from inside saying somebody's shooting a gun.
No, I bet I say ain't nobody shooting.
There was allegedly a fight with no gunfire. The parking lot has groups of people from a business called African Fusion.
Echo 630, you can go ahead and slow anybody else down.
DPD scales down the search for an active shooter, but accelerates the push to get everyone out of that parking lot. It's about 2:21 a.m.
Figure it out. Can't go. You don't have to go home, but you can't be here.
4 minutes later, Cedric Cheely begins talking to Police Sergeant John Matthew Martinez.
Now,
There's a whole lot of police.
you could classify this as the first mistake. First of all, when cops approach you, you never want to talk to cops. Secondly, unless you know what you're doing, you don't want to approach a cop and start to enter into a dialogue with them, because as we know, one of the most dangerous things you can do, at least on American soil, if not in the entire world, when you're confronting or are confronted by a guy with authority, is to talk to said person with authority. It almost never goes good for you.
Matthew Martinez.
There's a whole lot of police out here, like, good Lord.
Yeah, somebody called, said somebody was shooting a gun.
I ain't heard that.
I think it was a fist fight. Somebody thought maybe something else.
Well, I think that. Thank you. I stay across the street. I'm like, I can walk home.
It's better for you to walk home. You don't want to drive.
Right.
Don't drive home.
I'm all right.
Well, you don't want to drive intoxicated. There's too many police out here. You might go to jail.
Who intoxicated?
Huh?
Who intoxicated? Me?
I mean, you wouldn't want to chance it.
You gotta prove it.
Okay, then chance it.
Ain't no chance. Like, you have to the Constitution and all that.
Geely and Sergeant Martinez debate over the law. The sergeant calls over Officer Adnan Shaw to explain his suggestion. Officer Randy Roden is not far behind.
All right, so just to let you know, a lot of times when mainstream media covers these kind of cases, they will only talk about the initial offending officer or the offending officer who took up the most airtime or engaged in the most dialogue. And they will often ignore the other cops who supported the criminality of the original bad actor.
At this point, it's safer for you. It's for your own safety.
The Dallas man tells officers they have no proof he's even been drinking. Police say they can smell the alcohol. For 12 minutes, the officers in Chile go round and round, back and forth.
Okay. I'm going to walk across the street.
Thank you. I appreciate you walking across the street.
Yeah, but
All right.
yeah, I don't want to talk to him.
But it's like he doesn't understand because he's so intoxicated.
Are you willing to go home right now and not come back? It's just a yes or no question. It's either yes or no.
When I was
Go
talking
home right now.
you won't talk to me.
Right now.
Bye.
Okay.
Because if you put ankles on me,
No more.
get now.
No more. It's
It's
either
good
yes or
now.
no. You go home or I say yes.
What crime I'm committing?
Okay.
Come on.
Turn around here and coming back.
Yeah, what crime I'm committing?
Before the arrest, the guy is saying, what crime have I committed? And if there was ever a poster child for somebody who looks like they're picked on in school, this cop is it. He's going to be the one to first lay his hands on Cedric and put his hands behind his back and arrest him.
Because if you put ankles on me,
No more.
get now.
No more.
It's
It's either
good
yes or
now.
no. You go home or I say yes.
What crime I'm committing?
Okay.
Good question.
Turn around here and coming back.
Yeah, what crime I'm committing? What crime I'm committing?
Public intoxication is what you're under arrest for.
I ain't committed a crime.
Also on that
It really can't be that. It's not public intoxication because they were willing to let him walk away knowing that he was intoxicated. So when he continued to stand around asking questions, he was committing something worse than public intoxication, and that is contempt of cop. And we can never have that. Not with the thin blue line. Ain't gonna go there.
scene, Sergeant Jesse Rodriguez. His body cam captures the incident as it unfolds.
So get the paddy wagon. I can't walk. Get the paddy wagon. I'll wait on it.
Chile,
He's giving him warning. Get the paddy wagon because I can't walk. He's got bad hips. He's got a bad back. He doesn't bend like regular people do. And cops don't take into consideration any kind of pre-existing mental condition that you might have, shoulder injury, hip injury, knee injuries. They don't care. They're going to treat you. It's going to be a cookie cutter treatment of how they treat everybody. They don't care because they're those dangerous order following conformists that we always talk about.
who says he's a comedian, tells officers he has pins in his hips. 2 minutes later, as they walk him toward a police car,
Oh, you want to play this?
Chile hits the concrete.
Get him.
2 Dallas police sergeants and 2 officers try to get a 6'6", 325-pound public intoxication suspect off the ground.
You're gonna go to the county jail for resisting if you don't sit up, okay?
Police say Chile made his body dead weight, which they viewed as resisting.
Yeah, well said, Canna. Canna says, the hall monitor who never caught anybody got this guy in cuffs for a hypothetical.
Remember, this started off as a calm conversation at a sergeant's squad car. It has now become an intense situation heading to the backseat of a police car.
Here we go.
Touch the ground wrong. My hips don't work like that.
You're gonna go to
Touch
jail.
the ground wrong. My hips don't work like that.
He told officers about his hips.
See how the free market works. And by the way, that when you have law enforcement agents like this and the U.S. government like we have, and we have the funny money, fiat currency, petrodollar Ponzi scheme, we're not in a free market. But if we had a purely free market, it would never go this way because number one, you would have competition. With local and state and federal police departments, you don't have any competition. This is all you get. And when you try to set up something that would offer competition, they won't allow it because they'll use brute force to eliminate it. So when you have this kind of situation right here, if you had a truly free market where you had competing justice forces, let's call them, let's say you have police department A, B, C, and D, all vying for competition, all wanting your you to be their consumer, they're going to give you the best possible service. They're going to put the best possible employee forward. They're going to give you the most bang for your buck. They're going to be the most efficient. And the last thing that they want to do is be on video conducting this kind of operations with their company. But because we have a monopoly on force, violence, and brutality and theft, they don't care to offer good service because they are not held accountable to anybody but themselves. Nobody in this incident, as horrible as it's getting, and it's going to ramp up here 133 times, striking a man 133 times on the bottom of his feet, causing serious nerve damage and injury. You wouldn't have that in the free market because they would be incentivized to look good in the eyes of the public, not create a public relations nightmare for their marketing department, and they want to earn your business. Not so with police departments. That shows you we are not in a free market by any stretch of the imagination. Brandy, thank you very much for becoming a new member.
Nearly 25 times. Chile also mentioned bilateral hip surgery. He claims the pins in his hip make it difficult to sit in spaces like the back of a police car. Still police.
Where's the compassion? Where's the human dignity? Where's the protection? Where's the service? Well, wait a second, guys. Wait, guys. This guy's saying he has a serious hip injury. Let's stop trying to stuff him in here. And if we are going to arrest him, by the way, what are we arresting him for? Well, public intox. Yeah, but you were talking to him for like 2, 3, 4 minutes till he started asking questions. Why don't we perform a service and take this guy home so that he's not a danger to himself and to others? Why don't we do to others what we would want done to us? Nope, not going to do that because we got to show force. We got to get some ID. We got to put the torture cuffs on somebody.
He's put him in the back of the car, cursing and screaming. After officers put him in,
hard to watch.
They let the back window down, giving Chile his shoe. Chile says due to the space and his leg condition, he stretched his feet out of the window. As police search his belongings, Officer Shaw tries to push the man's feet out of the window back into the car.
Here we go.
Sergeant Martinez comes over with the baton.
All right. Get your foot inside, man. Get your foot inside. Get your foot inside. Get your foot inside. Get your foot inside.
Why are you hitting me?
Because you won't put it in. Put your foot in.
You ain't got no right to hit me.
And put your foot in. You're not listening.
No right to hit me.
I do.
So watch, he's using this right foot to hide behind his left foot to keep the stinging from happening. And watch this. Watch Martinez take this officer Martinez from the Dallas Police Department, take this sandal off and get rid of the protection.
You're not listening.
No.
You want to cooperate or not?
This is sadism.
I have no right to hit me.
Do you want to cooperate or
I
not?
have no right to hit me.
You're going to cooperate. I need you in the car. I need you in the car.
Who are you?
This cop is doing this knowing he's being recorded. None of the other cops are doing anything about it. It's a sane cop. You don't have to. I don't have to explain this to you, but apparently I have to explain this to any law enforcement agent or any law enforcement agent sympathizer who might be watching this video. You don't have to explain to somebody that this lacks compassion. This is ruthless activity. And you also don't have to explain that if there was a sane moral agent on the scene, they'd be grabbing Martinez, putting his hands behind his back and slapping the torture cuffs on this guy, taking him down for fingerprinting because he's committing a crime. So now you got all these other badged accomplices standing around letting Martinez participate in this sadistic activity.
I need you in the car.
Hey, what's your name?
I need you in the car.
DPD's internal affairs
Now,
says Chile's
now another guy's in on beating his ankles and his feet.
feet
Here,
got
I'm gonna play this back because internal affairs actually counted 133 foot and ankle strikes on this guy.
I need you in the car.
DPD's internal affairs says Chili's feet got struck 133 times. Police leadership gave Martinez a written reprimand.
A written reprimand? The guy should be behind bars, have no job, be decertified so he can never be a cop and torture somebody like this again under color of law, and go to jail for at least 12 months. At least. And they should put him in general population, and everybody, he should have a sign around his neck saying, I'm a police officer that abused Cedric, whatever his name is. If you disagree, if you think that's too harsh, let me know. But I'm telling you, it wouldn't have to happen to many cops, and they'd stop doing this garbage. They'd stop arresting people for stupid things.
The other 3 officers got reprimanded for taking the man to jail with his feet hanging out the window.
Put your feet in the car.
So that improper prison transport part, it got tossed out by then Assistant Police Chief Michael Igo. Igo is now the interim leader here at Dallas Police. So we try to talk to Dallas Police about this case. They tell us that they could not. I can tell you who is talking. Cedric Chili. For the first time, he and his attorney are telling us why this incident is what they call excessive.
Yes, Cedric is talking about, but they rescinded those slaps on the wrist, and that's all they got was a slap on the wrist. Let's see, what were the other officers' names? Listen to this.
Police leadership gave Martinez a written reprimand. The other 3 officers got reprimanded for taking the man to jail with his feet hanging out the window.
Put your feet in the car.
So that
They got reprimands. Reprimands. Can you imagine if a UPS or a FedEx or a Domino's pizza delivery driver did this? They would be up for criminal charges. Can you imagine an Uber driver hanging the feet of a customer outside the window and then beating on the bottom of his feet 133 times? They would clearly call him sadistic, and they would lock this guy up and take him out of society because he doesn't belong in society. Why is it that when you have a uniform badge and a gun and you have this state power or state authority that they overlook that and they just give you a reprimand and then they rescind those reprimands? Why is that? None of this makes any sense. This is bizarro world. About as bizarre as this story right here. I don't know if you guys heard about this. Arkansas dad pleads not guilty to shooting death of a man found with his teenage daughter. An Arkansas father has pleaded not guilty to second-degree murder after shooting a 67-year-old man that he found in a car with his missing teen daughter. Check this out.
An Arkansas father pleads not guilty today to second-degree murder charges. Aaron Spencer is charged in the deadly shooting of 67-year-old man he found in the car with his 14-year-old daughter. Rebecca Brown was in the courtroom today and has the latest developments on a case that got a lot of national attention.
Aaron Spencer is not a criminal.
Monday morning, Aaron Spencer uttered the words "not guilty" in front of a judge at the Lono County Sheriff's Office, where he is facing charges for second-degree murder. All this because of an incident on October 8th, where police reports say Spencer's teenage daughter was missing and was discovered by Spencer in a car with 67-year-old Michael Fossler. According to the sheriff's office, this eventually led to an argument ending with Spencer shooting and killing Fossler.
He was absolutely fearful for her life. Not to mention that she had been repeatedly the subject of multiple assaults, violent assaults on a child. What are we doing here?
According to court documents, Fossler was charged in early September with 2 counts of sexual assault and 2 counts of sexual indecency with a child, along with several other charges. According to Spencer's defense attorney, Aaron...
Now, hold on, let's not gloss over this. 2 counts of internet stalking of a child, 2 counts of sexual assault in the 4th degree, 2 counts of sexual indecency with the child, 1 count of general computer child pornography, and 36 counts of CSAM. What's CSAM? I don't know what that is. What is CSAM? What is... Oh, that's CP. Child, abuse. Abuse material. Okay. This guy has a serious problem, and yet he's out. They let him out of prison. Do you realize Henry is in jail right now for months and months, if not years, for just approaching and recording a police officer. Do you realize that there are innocent people in jail all the time that haven't even done close to this right here? They're still locked up, but these guys get to go free. What does that tell you about the injustice system? Ain't no justice to be found in the justice system if this kind of stuff can happen.
The child, along with several other charges.
And I don't know about you, and maybe I shouldn't say this. Stomper, thank you very much. Yeah, free Henry. Appreciate you being a member. I don't care about saying this. There's no way that taxpayer dollars should be tied up for years and years, giving these people 3 hots and a cot. No freaking way. That's not justice either. So they can commit their perversions against little people who can't resist their power when they get them alone. These are the kind of people that will drag some child off into the woods, have their way with that child, and eliminate that child's life. You know that you're a very, very bad person if you've let your psyche get to the point where you can do this and think like this about a kid. Even if you've got like images on your cell phone of little kids in these kind of positions, I think you're way far gone. There ain't no, you've dug yourself into such a deep and dark hole by the choices that you've made. I don't see how anybody can be rehabilitated once they're in that hole. I think that once they're in that hole, they're cemented in that position for life. I don't see any hope for them at all. Like the Jeffrey Dahmers of the world, the Ted Bundys of the world, all these people who got caught doing some really, really bad thing, kids in the basement. And like I said, even if it's some digital picture on your phone that you're downloading, knowing that the NSA has access to your files and you're going to do it anyway. It reminds me of, remember that Chris Hansen guy, To Catch a Predator? These old men trying to hook up with a young boy or young girl. And I'm talking about 13 or 14 years old. And Chris Hansen has caught the same people over and over and over again. How did Chris Hansen catch this guy the second time? How was that guy allowed to get out of jail so he could be a predator and prey on young people again and again and again? And how is it that innocent people like Hendry or Chili or all these people who've gone to prison because they were recording cops, how can that maintain itself on the horizon of American jurisprudence, and these people can be allowed to go free? How is that? And then our tax dollars pay for that? So I don't feel sorry when I hear about a guy who was eliminated when he's trying to do stuff like this to a kid. I feel like, hey, you want a budget deal? You want to not have to put this guy in jail for the next 30 years, 3 hots and a cot, $60,000, $75,000 a year to maintain this guy's life? Go to the nearest hardware store or whoever sells AMMO and grab a 40 cal, 45 cal. What do they cost these days? 50 cents, 70, 75 cents. And, I'll chip in on that. Do the tie him to the post or whatever. I just think if you start making examples of these guys, what is that? There's this verse in Ecclesiastes. I think it's 8:20. I can't remember. You guys correct me if I'm wrong, but it says something. I'm not a religious guy, but truth is truth no matter where you find it. When righteousness against an evil work, and it's truly evil work when you got a guy who's willing to do something like this to a little kid. When righteousness against an evil work is not executed speedily, therefore the hearts of the sons of men are fully set in them to do evil. In other words, when there's no guard, when there's no stopping point, when there's no punishment for their activities, and I'm talking about a severe and just and swift punishment, their heart is fully set in, hey, I got caught. I got away with it. Hey, they let me out of prison again. I'm only on probation. Hey, I get access to the general public again. When it's not executed speedily, therefore the hearts of the sons of men are fully set in them to do evil. So when I see a guy like this and a father eliminated this guy for being with his daughter and try to harm his daughter to keep her from becoming another statistic, there's no tear that I shed. I don't care at all. As a matter of fact, there's a little bit of rejoicing in my heart that another scum of the earth has been removed from being able to harm kids. How do you feel about it?
According to Spencer's defense attorney, Erin Casanilli, in her words, he did what any parent would have done.
We feel very confident that this community is going to come to Erin's side because every one of them would have done the same thing for their child or their neighbor's child or a member of their family.
And where was law enforcement in this man's time of need? Where was law enforcement? Oh, that's right. They only appear after the fact to write the reports and order the body bags.
But according to prosecuting attorney Chuck Graham, who charged Spencer with second-degree murder, Spencer's fear is only part of the story.
Yeah, that includes Catholic. I don't care who it is. I don't care what robe they wear. I don't care what uniform they got on. I don't care what kind of fancy title. I don't care how much money they have. If you do something like that every society should be like this. It's just common sense. If you do something like this to a little kid and we catch you doing it and we prove that you've done it, do not expect to be around for very long. That's the message we should be sending. Same with cops. If you're going to beat somebody on the soles of their feet 133 times, Dallas Officer Martinez, don't expect to be around very much longer.
Story.
They have a lot to say about the situation and me, but what's being put out there is not the whole story. And ethically, I can't go much further than that.
Outside of the sheriff's office stood family and friends of Erin Spencer. This case catching the eyes of people beyond Lono County.
Yeah, you know what? I think about that too. We don't have the whole story. I'm giving this to you, and I'm getting it from what is this? Channel 5 News, some local affiliate in Arkansas. We don't have the whole story. There are multiple sides to every single story. I would like to know what the truth is. How is it that this 67-year-old man was able to get that 14-year-old daughter into a car? What is going on here? Was there some dropping of the ball on the part of the parent? You know, there's so many questions. There's so many questions. And I think people get touchy about it because it's like, how dare you ask these questions, Brian? Don't you understand that this guy could have done bad stuff? Yeah, I understand that, but I also want to know all of the story. Don't you? Don't you have a bunch of questions? Like if you've got sons or daughters, would you, I mean, they're 14. They're still in your house. They're under your care. I mean, what was the scenario? What was the situation? How did this happen?
As many Facebook comments feel as strongly as both sides defending.
What is this? Yes, you want to protect your kids, but let the law deal with it. What? Let the law deal? Who's the law? The law. People who represent the law are using the color of law to pummel the rest of us and take our rights away, and sometimes our lives, our freedoms. They destroy life. I wonder how many innocent people are sitting in jail right now in the land of the free, home of the brave. We don't even know. We don't even know. Remember Schaefer Cox? He went to jail because he exposed a child PORN ring. Then they made him look bad. They tried to drum up false evidence on him. He's perfectly innocent. Went to a CMU. You know what a CMU is? He didn't go to a regular jail. He went to a CMU in Terre Haute, Indiana. It's a communications management unit. It's reserved for the worst of the worst. And they put that guy in there because he was exposing a whole bunch of nonsense, evil, perverted, predatorial nonsense in the state of Alaska. I would have done the same, just a dad protecting his child. Situations like this are no-win situation for police. Praying they release him. That's a position no parent should want to be in. Yeah, what's worse than somebody trying to do really bad things to your kid and probably, wanted to eliminate the kid, knowing that you got rid of the vermin so they wouldn't do that to anybody else's kid, and now you're behind bars. That'd be a tough pill to swallow. They can charge, because I'll tell you this, it's like, I'm thankful for it. If everything is as it presents itself to be, and that 67-year-old was a predator, and he is gone, how many kids' lives did that guy save by taking care of this? How many taxpayer dollars were saved by the efficiency of one act of justice? They can charge him all day long, but I seriously doubt any jury in the land will convict him. Yeah, and that's why you want a jury. You want jury nullification, because Where the law goes wrong, the jury can pick it back up. The problem is a lot of these people they stock with these juries, their brains are pickled by the propaganda coming from fake stream CIA infiltrated Operation Mockingbird, MK Ultra Media. It's really a sad state of affairs when you have to be careful. You have to cross your T's and dot your I's when you're going to bring any kind of justice into this unjust world, because the Department of Justice is rightly called the Department of Injustice, the Department of Corruption, being run from the top down by Washington's District of Criminals. A lot of people think that's going to change because we're going to have the Department of Government Efficiency. We're going to eliminate all this kind of stuff. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. Remember, there are handlers in the federal government that are far more wealthy and far more powerful than the people you think are the richest people in the world. You personally think the richest people in the world are Jeff Bezos, Bill Gates, and Elon Musk. The true wealth holders are the ones who own BlackRock. We're not just talking about mere hundreds of billions of dollars. We're not just talking about $1 or $2 trillion. We're talking about multiples of trillions of dollars, if not quadrillions of dollars. We're talking about the Rockefellers, the Rothschilds, the JP Morgans of the world, the ones who really have their grip tight around the economic and monetary prosperity of an entire country, entire countries. Give me control over a nation's wealth, Amschel Rothschild said, and I care not who makes its laws. Why don't you care who makes its laws, Amschel Rothschilds, one might ask? Well, I don't care who makes its laws because if I hold the purse strings, I own all the monopoly pieces, and there ain't nothing any legislator can do about it. I am way above any law they would create. By the way, the laws they create are sympathetic and lend power to the monetary laws that I'm going to put in place. And if at any point they don't, then they get eliminated. Their positions are dissolved or they mysteriously disappear. That's how it works. So if you think that you know who the richest guy in the world is, the most powerful guy in the world, it ain't who you think it is, because if you know their name, it's probably not them. Who owns BlackRock? What does BlackRock own? Is there anything that BlackRock and State Street and Vanguard don't have their fangs and their talons in? Is there anything? For example, if you live in a subdivision or you live near where there's an apartment complex or any kind of substantial form of real estate, commercial or residential, how many of those pieces of real estate, how many of those properties are actually owned or sub-owned by those three companies? BlackRock, Vanguard, and State Street. You don't know. If you looked into it, if you found out what percentage of the properties in America were actually owned by those guys, Bill Gates owns how many hundreds of thousands of acres of farmland? Who's the biggest single farmland owner in America? Last I checked, it's Bill Gates. Why? It's a lot of power. And that's, like I said, that's just a name that you know about. What are these people that you don't know they're swimming in true wealth? And I'm talking about the people who own the Federal Reserve, not the Ben Bernanke's and the Alan Greenspans and the Janet Yellens of this world. I'm talking about the people who own them. You think the president of the United States is the ruler or the leader of the free world. You think he's the commander in chief of the armed forces, but who owns the military industrial complex? Because if you find out who owns the military industrial complex, then you find out who owns the prison industrial complex, and you find out who put in place the drug war and civil asset forfeiture, and who owns the CIA and the FBI and the DEA and the alphabet soup agencies. And the protection racket of the Department of Homeland Security and the TSA. Do you realize that a subset of the Department of Homeland Security is the blue shirts of the TSA that's in every single airport, that owns every single one of those X-ray machines? $9 billion a year just for the blue shirts. $65 billion a year just for the Department of Homeland Security. $71 million a day just for NASA. That's a lot of money. That's a lot of power. So yeah, give me control over a nation's money. I don't give a damn if you make a positive gun law, negative, but do whatever you want to. I've got all the power, and I will move geopolitical pieces to my liking so that I can increase more power. And I do think within the power structure, you've got power structure against power structure. Like there are probably power structures against the power structures that own vast portions of the United States. They could be the same one. There could be bleed over. But I also think on the macro scale that there are forces competing with other forces. And I also think that within those competing forces, there have to be some measure of alliance. There's this give and there's this take and there's this compromise. When you're talking about Standard Oil, when you're talking about Pfizer and Moderna, big pharma, when you're talking about giant corporations like Amazon and Apple and Walmart, there are unseen mechanisms and forces behind those that call the shots. And it is a protection racket. They will protect themselves. So when we, in a sense, we're just kind of talking about the breadcrumbs right here. In a sense, none of us is truly free if we have rogue BlackRock and State Street and Vanguard and people who create situations where they control 50, 75, 100% of Congress, like these special interest groups like AIPAC. Do a Google search. Ask Google, say, how many lobbyists run Washington, D.C.? You'll be astonished at the number, because there are only 435 members of Congress. There are 100 members of the Senate. That's 535. But how many lobbyists and special interests? Just lobbyists. Forget about the other special interests, but just lobbyists. People lobbying for oil companies, big pharma industrial companies, contractor companies, land companies, real estate companies that are whispering in politicians' ears saying, hey, I need you to make this law right here so that it can edge out my competition so that we can get more capital, market cap, and make more money and increase our power. Just type it in, do it in Google right now. How many? Here, let's do it right now. Here, let's do it. I'll show you. I mean, your eyes should bug out of your head. Let's see. How many lobbyists are currently registered in Congress? There you go. I've looked it up before, obviously. Look at this. And it's one of those, you can't make this stuff up. Yeah, you can actually make up crazy, insane stuff like this. But why would you have to? This is our reality. The number of lobbyists in Washington is estimated to be over 12,000. But most lobbying in terms of expenditures is handled by fewer than 300 firms. One of the biggest firms is AIPAC. And what is AIPAC? American Israeli Action Committee. That's the people. That's a foreign country that owns Congress. Let's just be honest with it. So if you take a calculator and you go over here and you say, let's see, 12,000 divided by 535, you've got 22, you got 22.4 times more lobbyists than you have people who claim to be representatives of you. So when you have 22 times more lobbyists and special interest groups that are registered in Washington, D.C., whose interest do you think they're looking out for? Who do you think they actually represent when they're getting those kickbacks? It's not news bulletin. It's not you. So let's go back over there. Let's go ahead and finish this right here.
In the states versus Aaron Spencer.
And we look forward to the public being involved in this process, certainly more so than they were today.
A trial date will be set time out in the future for a jury trial, and we'll go from there.
That was Rebecca Brown reporting. Now, the judge set a date today for Spencer's trial and scheduled jury selection to start next March 19th.
Prior to contrary.
Unfrickin' believable. I think I had one more. Yeah, I got one. If you guys want to do one more thing, let me know. Let me know. I got one more story for you. One more story for you coming out of Portsmouth, New Hampshire or New England. Where is this? Let's see. Where is this? This was one of those ones that was, let's go, says Brandy. Jasper says, let's go. Yeah, it is. It is that. It is legalized robbery. It's legalized tyranny. It's legalized criminality. That's exactly what it is. Let me see. I want to give you exactly what police department this is. This came from Chuck Bronson's channel. Let me just go quickly to remember this guy right here. This is that Dallas police officer who just lied through his teeth after he had caused that accident, lying about everything. Thank God we have it on body cam. Let me go over to Chuck Bronson's channel. Chuck. Oop. Bronson. What is this? This is Portsmouth. What? Where is it? New Hampshire. Yeah. Let's go ahead and put that up on the screen. Now I've gone ahead and followed the Portsmouth, New Hampshire Police Department because I want to be able to make a comment, and it says that only people who follow this page for more than 24 hours can leave a comment. In the meantime, here, I'll give you this before we go over these. If you haven't seen it, man, it's just, I always want to maintain my sensitivity because, you know, in a sense, none of this stuff should be shocking. It's not surprising that cops lie. It's not surprising that they have a culture of criminality. It's not surprising that the Thin Blue Line gang will always watch each other's back to hell with the public. It's not about serving and protecting. It's about harassing and collecting. In a sense, we should always expect that the Thin Blue Line Fraternal Order of Police is always going to back the blue, and to hell with you. And to hell with me. But, you know, still, it's kind of, it is still shocking. And I would be lying to you if I wasn't, if I told you that I wasn't shocked about this. So let's go over this. Watch these guys. This is a pullover for what they said, and you'll hear it later in the video. They were not stalking. It was trolling or something like that. There's literally no justification for the initial stop. No justification at all. No crime is committed. We're going to hear the cops banter back and forth about reasonable, articulable suspicion. But let's go ahead and get into the action here.
Yeah. Leave him alone.
There's nothing wrong.
Tase. I don't give a people. Tase him. Tase him. Tase him. Yo, you guys are losing your job. Losing your job.
Last warning.
No.
Turn around.
Call your supervisor.
Turn around. You're gonna get tased. Listen, motherfucker. Turn around. You have no reason to pull me over. Turn around.
No.
No. I
Turn
did.
around.
You recording it?
Everything.
I did.
Turn
not.
around.
Turn around.
You can't just. You can't do
I
that.
have reasonable suspicion to stop.
Of what? Of what? No, you don't.
Turn around.
No, you don't.
No, dude. Turn.
No, you
around.
don't. You can't pull people over like this.
Turn around. I explained to you. I have reasonable.
No, you're losing. Hey, name your badge number, please. Both of you. Hey,
turn around.
You're losing your job.
You're under arrest.
For what? For what?
For what? Turn around.
Give him a reason.
No. For what? Resisting.
Resisting what?
No, you're living out of my car. Turn around. Turn around. Get out. Turn around.
You cannot. No, you can't do this, dude. This is wild.
You know, this is something that everybody's got to understand. You cannot get arrested for resisting. Like, a cop can't just come up to you, grab you by the arm, put your hands behind your back, cuff you, and throw into a cop car, and you go, what's the charge? Resisting. Resisting is a secondary charge. The primary charge has to come with the minimum standard of reasonable, articulable suspicion, ... that a crime has been committed. Now, what a lot of cops will go out there and say, and we've seen this before, they'll say, what did you pull me over? You're being suspicious. What do you suspect that I'm doing, officer? Do you suspect that I'm engaged in a crime? Because if you don't suspect I'm engaged in a crime, you have no right, you have no authority to put your hands on me or interfere with my day in any way. But for some reason, cops think it's okay to just say, well, I'm pulling you over for reasonable articulable suspicion. I'm pulling you over because you're acting suspicious. I've approached your vehicle because you look suspicious. Suspicious of doing what? There has to be something that follows that. You cannot apprehend somebody unless you suspect they're up to creating a victim, harming somebody, threatening to harm somebody, damaging property, stealing property. So when they say, what are you arresting me for? I'm arresting you for resisting arrest. But you have to have done something prior to that. There's like, you skipped a step. You skipped the step of you've got to have arrested me because you suspect. Actually, it's supposed to be probable cause. The probable cause standard is supposed to have been met. I have probable cause that any objective, reasonable person can look at and go, yeah, he definitely looks like he was engaged in criminal activity. The problem is this standard of reasonableness is highly subjective. Well, it looked reasonable to me, Judge. Well, articulate it then. Come up with a logic trail that makes sense to any rational person and explain it like we're all fifth graders. And if you can't explain it, if you can't construct a logic trail that makes any kind of sense to the average person who doesn't need a high IQ to understand it, then you don't have reasonable articulable suspicion. So I find it funny anytime I hear a cop say, you're under arrest for resisting arrest. That's not a thing. That's not a real thing. It's not a legitimate thing.
Bro, this is wild.
Turn around.
Yo.
Yeah, rational cops is like an oxymoron. It's like saying airline food or jumbo shrimp or military intelligence or tight slacks.
Give it to you. Turn around. He asked me about it. You're going to be detained now, and we can talk about it, but turn around.
No, you're not.
Around. Let the hands turn around.
Yo.
Turn around.
Let him go. Let him go. Let him go. Let him go. No, you know you're wrong. You're not. Give him a reason. Give him a reason. You can't.
But no matter how wrong the cop knows that he is, he will continue to double and triple and quadruple down because that's what people do when they're fueled by and they're intoxicated with their ego and their authority. That's why we say, hey, if the problem with the world is that we have evil people, then the last thing you would ever think about doing is giving some of those evil people a uniform, a badge, a gun, and authority. Why would you ever do that? You're a psychopath. You're insane if you do that.
You can't arrest him for nothing, dude. You're retarded. Tase him. You're losing your job. Tase him. Tase him. You're losing your job.
God, look, let me just back this up. Look at this. It's like, it's like they're in the middle of their own Call of Duty game, guys. It's like they're like, this is my chance. I get the first person shooter, man. This is awesome. Oh man, we got less lethal too, so we can do it again and again and again. Look at this guy's eyes. He's like, stop. Look at this. Look at this. Stop. Stop. Obey my authority. I've got authority over you guys. You better obey my authority.
You're losing.
Damn.
Stop. You.
Yeah, you guys, thanks for joining this live stream. One of the best things that you can do, one of the freest things you can do, it doesn't cost you anything, is hit the like button and share this video with everybody you know. If you haven't subscribed, go ahead and subscribe. If you haven't become a member, come on. What's stopping you? Just become a member. Let's get 10 new members today. Let's just 10 new members. You could do it. You could do it.
Get on the ground.
Stay tuned. It gets better.
Your job. You lost your job. Just lost your job.
Get out of the vehicle.
Yo.
Get out of the vehicle. 302, get me additional now.
Yo, this is.
Give me additional backup. I need help exacting my criminality.
Wild.
Get out of the car.
You just lost your job.
Get out of the car. I got no weapons.
You just lost.
Get out of
Yo,
the car.
this is wild.
302, I need additional. For what? What are the charges? Vehicle. What did I do wrong? Resisting arrest. Get out of the
You
vehicle.
can't arrest somebody for no reason. This is the
Get out of the vehicle now.
Yo, name and badge number, please. Name and badge number. Name and badge number. Give something.
Right now.
You can't pull people over for no reason.
Get out of the vehicle. I did nothing wrong.
You guys are losing your job.
Get out of the vehicle.
You are getting sued.
Get out of the vehicle. I will talk to you, but get out of the vehicle now. Don't get out of the vehicle now.
Leave him alone.
Get out of the vehicle. He's on my job.
Leave him alone.
He's on my job, bro. Get out of the
Let
vehicle.
go.
Help.
Yo, look at you guys.
You're gonna be pepper spray. Oh, come
Did you?
Get out of the car.
Yo, you're.
Get out.
God, they so bad want to inflict some serious pain. They've already tased the guy a couple times. They've already pulled the trigger with the taser probes in this guy a couple times, and now they're threatening to get out the mace. God, man, it's like they cannot rest at night until they cause somebody to suffer.
Get out.
You guys are losing your jobs. You're getting sued and losing your jobs. I am. Retarded. You are the dumbest mother I've ever met.
Yes, you do.
No, he doesn't.
I am trying to, but you're not listening.
No, you are way out of line, bro.
Yep.
Way out of line.
Way out of line.
Not a god.
Don't cuff me, bro.
You guys are.
Stop moving. You're going in cuffs. Stop. And we can talk to you man to man. That's fine. You're going in cuffs. Stand here and look at me. I am. Then don't cuff me. Get in the cuffs now.
You guys are. You guys are.
I don't want to spray you. Bro.
Yo, you guys.
Yeah, you guys are totally.
I mean, can you imagine watching just a handful of videos and still being a leather muncher and a bootlicker? Can you imagine continuing to back the blue? This is another example where no good cops are on the scene. We hear about them all the time. It's only a few bad apples, but every cop that arrives on the scene is a bad apple if he's not going, why do you have that guy in cuffs? You pulled him over for what? You're resisting him. I mean, you're arresting him for resisting arrest. What? Uncuff this guy. And then cuff the cops who committed the criminal actions against the guy he's supposed to be protecting and serving. What a letdown.
I hope you guys have a good lawyer.
Look at it, bro.
Yeah.
For what?
They're done. Don't worry about it, Jeff.
For what, bro?
Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it.
You had no reason to pull me over. It don't matter what I was.
No. You guys are. You guys are.
And here comes backup. You just.
SWAT team's coming in.
Are so.
You recording it, bro?
Yeah.
Hey, you ain't got fucking 2 seconds.
Yeah, it is, Brandon. It is. It is justified. But you know what's going to happen if you do that? You could be right, but you could end up dead right. And you know the thin blue line guys ain't going to let you get away with this. I imagine that even if there was a law that said not only do you not have qualified immunity, dear officers, not only do you not have qualified immunity, we're also going to tell the public that if you try to put your hands on somebody and arrest somebody and interrupt some or so much as harass somebody, they have a right to defend themselves up to and including that. Even if they made that, even if they codified it and put it into law in all 50 states, they would still be abusing you. They would still be abusing me. You know how I know that? Because we have 18 USC 241 and 242. Conspiracy against rights, deprivation of rights under color of law. The prescription for anybody who would deprive somebody of their rights under color of law is fine, imprisonment, and death. The prescription and the punishment for somebody who conspires against rights is fine, imprisonment, and up to and including death. And they don't care. They don't care. They continue to do it anyway.
There's the cops, Darren. Hey, you want to hit me?
You guys to back the fuck off.
He got me, man. Just hit the truck. Hey! Push on me for, bro. I'm not doing a thing.
You can't give.
You guys retired?
What are you arresting him for?
Yeah, back off, or else you're going to be detained. Hell, what they do? Hey, go!
What?
I'm not doing a fucking thing. Dude, I'm standing
This
here.
guy.
Savage.
Listen.
I'm not doing a thing.
You cannot over for no reason.
They got two sets of
Rip
cops.
him out of his vehicle with no reason.
Back up, or you're going to get.
There's something else clear and embarrassing and stark right here that I want to point out. Why is it we're always the ones that are the subjects? Why is it the ones that are allowed to roam around on the royal horses and enter and exit the castle? Why are the rulers the ones in the uniforms? Why are we the ones on the run? Why are we the ones with our hands up? Why are we the ones on our knees? Why are we the ones with our hands cuffed behind our backs getting permanent nerve damage? Why are we the ones in the back of the patrol car? And it's never the cop. Never, ever, ever is it the cop. And until that changes, until this, because we have this is a class system right here. We have the haves and the have-nots. We have the political parasites, the political parasitic class. We have the enforcement class. And then there's the rest of us. Why did they have more rights than the rest of us? Why did they get to walk around with the guns inside the banks and the federal buildings and the state buildings and out on the street? But somehow, if you're the armed fisherman and you have your AK-47 strapped to your back and a couple of handguns on you in concert with Florida state laws, why is he the one that gets picked on? Why is he the one held at gunpoint? And why is it if you held them at gunpoint, they'd put the helicopters in the air, the dogs on the ground, there'd be an incessant manhunt and search for you if you ever put a thin blue line gang member's life in jeopardy? In true, observable, objective self-defense, you would clearly be in the right. For some reason, something snaps, something turns off in the human psyche and the mind. And I'm talking about somebody who might sit on a bench as a jury member to try this case or decide on this case. They're immersed to think, without being given the exact words, that law enforcement officers and politicians and judges are the special members of society. They are in a class by themselves, and we don't have access and we don't have privilege to being in that class. Why is it that way? Why do we continue to accept that?
Get back to the concrete right now.
No.
I'm
on public property.
I'm giving you a lot of orders. Step back to the grass.
You're not my. What the?
Let it back. Dude, I will. You guys are fighting me.
Yo.
I'm a gentleman. Stop.
We need a supervisor here now. Yeah, we need him. These guys are losing their jobs, bro. No joke. Yo.
I'm not fighting these motherfuckers.
Leave him alone. Dude, leave him alone.
Back up.
Back up. Dude, these guys are. Bro.
Okay, I don't know what's going on. Back up.
Dude, fucked.
Back up.
These cops are, I'm telling you right now, both of them are losing their jobs.
Back up.
I'm not, no joke, bro. This is, dude.
I didn't do anything.
Yo.
Jesus Christ. My dad's a tiny hip state trooper. I'm a gentleman.
Yo, you guys are fucked.
Tom, I want
You're fucked.
No, it's fucking retarded.
Yeah, you're
an American citizen.
You guys are done.
I go anywhere I want to go.
Don't ever call yourself an American citizen. You're a human being. You're a man of the earth or a woman of the earth. You're not a citizen. A citizen is a subject. You're not a citizen. That's how they're treating you. They're treating you like you're some kind of underling, and they're the overlord. That's how they act. Yeah, I get what you guys are saying. Free Sonia Massey. Oh, that's right. We can't free Sonia Massey because she's dead, and her attacker and her killer in her own house might get out of prison. Free Daniel Shaver. Oh, that's right. We can't free him because he's no longer with us, and Philip Brailsford got acquitted. Free Philando Castile. Oh, yeah, that's right. Jimenez got away with that one too. Imagine if you woke up tomorrow and you had this strange qualified immunity where you could literally carry around a camera you could carry around a camera and you could end people's lives on camera, and the judge goes, just try not to do it again. Just try not. Imagine that. That's what's going on.
You're done.
Why you busting my balls? What do you want? You think I had drugs? No.
Comply to what?
Had no reason to get pulled
He
over,
pulled us
bud.
over for no reason and said,
None.
oh, because you were driving around, I'm pulling you over. That's illegal. You can't do that. Give me your ID. No, I don't have to. You can't pull us over for fucking reason.
Yeah.
And he knows it.
Yeah.
You got body cam on?
No.
None of you guys have body cam on. For what?
Yeah, Steve Harlola says, I was just watching dark web footage of the Daniel Shaver incident. My blood is boiling. It was hard to watch. And especially given the fact that Daniel Shaver was trying his best to follow the commands of the Mesa Police Department in that La Quinta Inn. He was trying his best to do what they were telling him, and they were giving him very confusing, rapid fire commands that you or I in a sober state would have trouble following. He was literally, Daniel Shaver is begging for his life. And the Mesa Police Department are such cold-blooded killers that they just ended his life. It was clear he wasn't armed. He wasn't a threat. They had Kevlar. They had vests on. They have police training behind them. They outnumbered this guy. They outgunned this guy. And yet they felt like it was a good idea to fill him with 5 .223 rounds, and then he gets acquitted. It's just truly, I can't think of another. It's unconscionable. But because you and I have a conscience, we wouldn't ever do that. We wouldn't even think to do that. Unbelievable.
Yo. No, this is stuff.
Okay, I
This
just
is
got here.
real
Relax,
stuff.
okay?
Oh, that, what's worse than a cop? What's worse than a cop? A ponytail. And don't you love it? Don't you love it? Okay, I need you to stand back. I need you to stand back. I know you've been here the whole time. I just got here. I'm just trying to figure things out. And every cop that comes, I'm just trying to figure things out. So every time you interact with a cop on a scene you've been on for 35, 45 minutes, you got to start all over again because there's some cop somewhere, cop-splaining and trying to impress upon you how ignorant they are of the situation. And yet they're the ones who are telling you to get back. It's just, it makes you want to pull your hair out.
Relax, okay?
I just got here. Relax now.
Supervisor. All right, because this is beyond up.
Don't force me.
This is wild. Both of them are losing their jobs.
Wait till he talks to the supervisor. Wait till you hear this.
I do. Why do you need it? What did I do? What did I do?
You're detained as part of this investigation.
For what?
As I told you, you're detained as part of this investigation. I'm trying to determine that.
What are you investigating?
What investigation?
Yeah, there you go.
Like a traffic stop.
What was the traffic stop for?
Reasonable suspicion.
Of
You
what?
guys are prowling, lurking.
Lurking.
There you go. Prowling and lurking. That's what they've drummed up here.
Lurking and prowling.
Lurking is illegal.
It is reasonable suspicion for a traffic stop.
Driving around is illegal.
Okay.
What is the reasonable, articulable suspicion that there is prowling and lurking? What is it? Wait till you hear the supervisor when he gets on the scene. Let's see. Who's this guy right here? This guy's not a sergeant. Wait till you hear what the sergeant says.
Is it? Is driving around illegal?
No, but it depends.
Okay.
What manner of
So you can't. No. Okay.
You asked a question, right?
Yes.
So
Driving around illegal.
So I don't know what you guys are doing. I'm saying if you're at a closed business or something of that sort,
What does that matter?
prowling on the property. If you have no reason to.
Okay, so if you don't know what these guys are doing, then you don't have any reasonable suspicion that they're doing anything that comes close to committing a crime. And if you do have a real reasonable suspicion, then you need to articulate it. Anybody can say, hey, they were prowling, they were lurking, and then use a traffic stop as a justification to infringe on their constitutionally protected rights.
To make business or going to the store if it's after hours, let's say, and you're prowling around a building, it's reasonable suspicion for them to go ID you.
Oh my God, look at what Finbar just said. I have reasonable articulable suspicion that cops are morons. I would love to be in a situation where I can actually use that. That would be hilarious.
I don't
No,
know.
it's not.
I don't know what. You just asked me the question. I gave you an answer.
Yes,
It
and I'm
is.
telling you it's not.
Okay. Do your research later. But in this instance, I'm just saying that's an example. I don't know what you guys are doing tonight.
No, you cannot pull someone over for no reason, okay?
Reasonable
And then
suspicion and
rip
probable
them.
cause.
What's the reasonable suspicion? Were we swerving? Were we speeding? Did we go through a red light? None of it. Nothing.
Relax. Dude, I wasn't
No,
here.
he just got tased twice for no reason.
Relax.
I'm sure there was a reason.
There was no.
We just got done torturing your friend. Relax. Isn't it amazing that the abuser is the one that always tells you to relax? The abuser is the one who's telling you to settle down.
Reason. He ripped him out of the car for no reason.
Dude, chill. Right?
No, this is absurd.
Okay.
This
You
is
can
the
talk
craziest
to-
I've ever
Dude,
seen,
you can
dude.
talk to
This is shit
supervisor
you
on
see online. What happened tonight is literally what you see online. People get
And you got your
abused.
video of it, so you're good.
It's just wild.
What'd you guys get? What's your first name?
Darren.
So, did you guys get pulled over in Portsmouth and continue into Newington?
No, we were right here.
Okay.
He threw his blues on right there.
So you guys.
And we pulled into here.
Gotcha.
Yep.
Does that answer your question?
Nothing.
So they initiated traffic stop.
Nothing, Jeff. Nope. Yeah. They fucked up.
You had no reason to pull me over, fine.
Yeah, a really good logical case can be made for ACAB. A very, very good, what I feel like is an ironclad case for all, not some, all cops are bad.
I'm Darren. I know the other officer already asked if you don't want to throw that ID.
No, why do I have to? Give me a reason why he pulled us over.
I wasn't here. I don't know.
There we go. Another one arriving on the scene. I wasn't here. I don't know what I'm doing. If there's so many ignorant people on the law enforcement department of any department in any state at any time, why do we need them? We have gross negligence, extreme incompetence, maniacal, moronic activity, and just wanton ignorance. And it's nonstop.
So talk to him. Give us a reason why you pulled us over, and I'll give you everything you want. You had nothing. You can't just pull people over for no fucking reason, rip them out of the car and tase them.
Yep.
That shit don't, no. Yeah, no, exactly.
So Darren, I assume he was driving?
Yep.
Once the supervisor's done, we'll chat with you too.
Let's jump ahead to the supervisor.
Resisting arrest for what? You can't arrest people for no reason. You guys are gonna stand by and let this shit happen?
Again, dude, there's 5 guys already over there. I'm not going to go butt my head in. Again, you can talk to the supervisor.
No, this is why. How can you just let this shit happen? He can't give him a reason, and he's gonna arrest him.
Come on.
Let it happen.
Where's the Sarge?
He doesn't have a reason. He doesn't have a reason. You guys are idiots, dude. Fucking idiots.
Where's the Sarge? Oh, here is this the sergeant? Yep, Sergeant. What's his name? Sergeant M. Weber. Surely Sergeant M. Weber has some answers for us. Surely he's not going to claim ignorance. He knows he's already been on the scene for a couple minutes, so he knows what's going on. He knows why the arrest was made, right?
Let's you have the cartridges off the ground. Yep. Hi, so you were a passenger in the car?
Yep.
All right, my name's Sergeant Max Weber. So that being said, just like I was just speaking to that officer, you don't want to give a statement about what's going on or anything like that?
Yeah, I mean, why is he in the police car right now?
All right, so I'm going to start off
Can
with
you give me that?
I have no idea because I wasn't here. I was
That
inside the
doesn't
police.
work.
Hold on.
Another cop arrives on the scene, this time a commanding officer, and he's got no idea what's going on or why the arrest was made or why a human being's being detained or even why he's talking to the guy with the camera. He's got no idea what's going on. How are you the commanding officer? If I was at a fast food restaurant and I wanted to talk to the manager, I would expect the manager what's going on at the fry cook station, at the hamburger flipping station, at the milkshake station. They would know what's going on. Why? Because they're incentivized. They're the manager. That's what they're getting paid for. Same with commanding officers. The buck is supposed to stop with them. It doesn't look like it ever started.
Should know now,
Listen,
right?
Listen, I don't have all the information. What I know is he's in custody for resisting arrest.
For what?
I don't know. So
You should know that. Are you his supervisor?
listen, I can't get the full rundown in being here for like 2 minutes. I'm working through it.
It wouldn't even take 2 minutes. It wouldn't even take 60 seconds. Okay, why do we have this guy in cuffs? Got it. Okay, I understand. What did he do? What's the reasonable articulable suspicion that he's committed a crime? Okay, you don't have one? Release this guy. Let them go on their way. We got murders. We got thefts. We got rapes. We got cold cases that need to be solved. We don't need to be doing this. If he was worth his salt, that's what he would be doing. He's the sergeant. He doesn't know what's going on after being 2 minutes on the scene. It's not that complex. Why? One question. Why is he in the car? Why did you arrest him? What did he do? What's the crime? We suspected that he... Okay, do you have reasonable suspicion? Can you articulate the suspicion? Give me the logic trail. Can't do it. Let him go. And I'm writing you up and I'm writing you. As a matter of fact, turn in your service weapons. Meet me at the station. You're under arrest for locking this guy up.
But what I'm saying is he's under arrest and we're going to go back and figure out what's going on. I'm asking you if you...
That's not how you're supposed to do it. I'm going to arrest you now and I'll figure it out later. Ready, fire, aim.
Out of line.
I'm asking
That's all I'm
you
telling
if you'd
you.
like to provide
He is out of
a
line.
statement or any contact information.
A statement for what?
What happened from your point of view?
We got pulled over for no reason.
Okay.
We asked him why.
Okay.
Couldn't give us a reason.
Okay.
Suspicion. You're driving around.
Okay.
I can't drive.
Okay. So then what?
So he asked for his ID, and I said, no. Don't do it. For what? Give us a reason. Give us something. You can't just pull people over for no reason.
Okay.
And he fucking ripped the door open and ripped him out of the truck, out of the car.
Okay.
Thanks for becoming a member, Michael. Thank you.
And then he's resisting arrest. For what? You still haven't given the guy a reason.
Okay.
What do you mean okay? That's okay with you? As a person,
I'm listening to
you
what you're
have
saying.
morals, right?
Listen, I'm not commenting or giving you my opinion on anything because I wasn't here. I don't know. But I'm listening to what you're saying.
I got nothing to say.
Okay,
That is a great question. You have morals, right? You have a moral standard and a code that guides you through life and how you treat your fellow human beings. Don't you, Sergeant? Don't you have that? See, the thing is, you got to understand, in order to be a cop, you have to have abandoned morals. We see that time and time again. That you could be a cop and just go along to get along with all the other fellow cops on the scene have done without asking questions, not even knowing if you're a part of a criminal action against an innocent person or not. That automatically, count me out from that line of work. I can't do it because if I can't ask questions, if I can't get further details, if you're going to expect me to be on that midnight raid, no-knock raiding this lady's house, this 67-year-old lady's house, I need to know what she's being accused of. And then I need to see what the probable cause that she's involved in a crime. I need to see who the actual victim is. I need to do my own research. But if you're going to be a part of the Thin Blue Line gang that gets access to none of that information, and it doesn't appear there's any kind of desire on the part of any police officer to even ask those initial investigative questions, then that's a team I can't be a part of. Why? Because you believe the same thing too. I know you do, because you have a moral code. There's no way I could just jump into something and somebody goes, go handcuff that guy, without knowing why I'm handcuffing that guy. Why am I taking this guy's freedom away? What did he do? More importantly, where is his victim? Now, if he's got a TV in his hands and he's trying to, I've observed him come out of the block. What is it called? I almost said Blockbuster. Come out of the, I don't know. They don't even have Circuit City anymore. I don't know. Come out of some shop, some electronic store with a TV, looking this way and that way and loading it up in his nondescript van. Okay, we've got probable cause that a crime might be committed, but then this could be the store owner loading a TV in his van so he can deliver it to a customer. So that's where questions come in. And it's reasonable. Like if you're going to serve and protect the public, and within your jurisdiction is a shop that you know the shop owner and you know the employees because you frequent that place, and you see somebody walking out with some expensive piece of technology, you're going to stop and ask questions. And if it's somebody you don't recognize, you're probably going to be suspicious that they're engaged in a crime. But you have to have that kind of suspicion that they're engaged in a crime. You can't just go, okay, this guy didn't activate his turning signal 57.5 feet before he was supposed to, so I'm going to pull him over and use that as justification to say, I'm smelling some weed in your car. Well, even if you did smell weed, was this guy swerving? Was he endangering somebody's life? Or did you just decide to turn to pull him over so that you could justify the stop, so that you could go on a fishing expedition? That's what they lack. They lack critical thinking, but more important than critical thinking, they lack morality. They lack that stopper in your psyche that would go, I am not treating this person this way because, not because my law says it, or because there's something written in the Constitution, if that were holy writ, or because I'm a Bible-believing Christian, or I'm a God-fearing Muslim and my holy book says. You don't do it to somebody else because you wouldn't want it done to you. And it's very simple. You don't have to be clergy. You don't have to be a holy man of God. You don't have to be a politician or a law enforcer. You just don't treat. That's how you govern the affairs of your life. That's how you self-govern. That's how you self-control. You don't put your hands on somebody because you wouldn't want somebody to put their hands on you. It's self-evident. You don't need a formula. You don't need a long dissertation. You don't need a college degree. You don't need a high IQ. You don't need a holy book or become a member of a religion. You already know this. But they don't. And if they do, they stuffed it into their subconscious long ago. And now they're past the point at which they can actually be honest with themselves. That's the problem with the world. That's the problem with American and North Korean and communist China policing. If you disagree, let me know.
I got nothing to say.
No, because it's reasonable. You don't need like probable cause.
Yeah, you do.
It's reasonable suspicion. You don't need probable cause. They don't even know their own laws.
What do you mean? You can't just pull people over for no reason. It doesn't work that way.
Reasonable suspicion.
Of what?
Look up the definition. Yeah, but you get it.
Look up the definition.
So you can explain it to me.
Oh my God.
You know, more than the definition, it's the application. It's the application of reasonable suspicion. How is it being applied? How is it being misused? And why is it constantly being misused by local, state, and federal police departments? Steve Harola says, left, right, red, or blue, the government doesn't give a F about you. Less government, more freedom. Thanks for that super chat. I appreciate it. Guys, the reason we have a problem is because we have immoral. God, I hate using the word because it's so frequently used, but what else do you call it? It's a psychopath. They don't care about you. They don't care about others. They care about themselves. They care about getting their paycheck. They care about the accolades. They care about the plaques on the wall. They care about the thin blue line, or at least they claim to, but they don't care about you. And it's pretty psychopathic to say that you do when your actions speak completely different words than the sounds coming out of your mouth. So leave your, what's up, Sly Shy, Mike Justice, Jim F. Sannel says, soon, no rights due to idiots in this chat because they voted for Trump, who's giving cops fed complete immunity from accountability and prosecution. Yeah, I'm not going to call any. Okay, let's say you voted for Donald Trump. I'm not looking down on you, but I do ask why. I'm not going to call you an idiot because I probably do idiotic things too. I just don't think that it's. I know what you're saying, Sanel, and I sometimes feel the same way. But then we're all on a journey, and we all have a path, and maybe another person's path is longer than somebody else's path. Maybe your path ends today. Maybe you're going to get on the highway and you're going to get pulled over by a cop, and an 18-wheeler gets a couple of tires blown, and then it takes you and the cop out. Maybe that's the end of your journey. Some people are a little bit slow to coming to the knowledge of the truth. And some people just haven't had their eyes opened yet. There's a lot of people who don't have, believe it or not, there are a lot of people on this planet right now that don't have access to what we have access to. They haven't seen a fraction of the videos of police abuse of power that you and I have. There are people who are in a bubble in a world where they've never seen or even heard of police abuse of power. In spite of the Rodney King, in spite of the Philando Castiles, in spite of the James Boyd. Remember James Boyd in Arizona? He's just a homeless guy living out there by himself. And the was it Mesa or Glendale Police Department? One of the two came out there in the desert. This guy's minding his own business. He's not in the business of anybody else. He's sleeping out there. They sick the dog on him. They do the non-lethal, and then they just blow this guy away. That's James Boyd. There's Kelly Thomas. Remember him from the Glendale, Fullerton Police Department in California. There's so many names. Sonia Massey. There's so many names. Tyree Nichols. The Jump Out crew just got decimated Tyree Nichols. This is the culture. It's a culture. CULT. It's a cult. These people are cult members. And there are people who are non-law enforcement that people call bootlickers. I used to. I don't want to do that anymore because I do want to build bridges, and I don't want to unnecessarily diffuse or offend or obstruct somebody's journey. I want to do as good as I can. I'm not perfect and I make mistakes, but I just feel like if you voted for Trump, I would like to have a conversation with you. And I do have a lot of conversation with Trump followers. And I ask them, if you're against Kamala Harris and Joe Biden for endorsing and supporting red flag gun confiscation laws, then why wouldn't you be against Donald Trump for the same thing? Because he is basically the father of federalized red flag gun confiscation laws. If you're against Kamala Harris because she was the nation's top cop as the prosecutor for California, then why wouldn't you be against Donald Trump, who wants to put a further blanket, an additional federalized blanket of federalized qualified immunity over every single law enforcement officer, including these guys that we just saw in this video right here? Why do you want to do that? It's inconsistent. And see, that's what politics does. And I can talk about this on my other political channel, but politics is so pervasive that you can't escape it. You can choose not to have anything to do with politics, but I guarantee you politics and politicians will have something to do with you. So in our day and age, we have to confront this because it's our reality. And that's why I don't ever see there are pinholes of light that do come through the black fabric of our current society. And sometimes it's enough and other times it isn't enough, because when somebody says the truth over here, then they kind of, negate that truth by telling another lie. So one of the things that politics does is it causes the people who promote politics and politicians and the left versus right paradigm lie, and I'm for team red and I'm for team blue and all this tribal mentality that goes along with it. It makes you inherently inconsistent and hypocritical, which equals immorality. If you are an inconsistent, hypocritical person as a pattern of your life, you are not a moral person, because a moral person has standards, and those standards are right, and they stick to those standards no matter. It doesn't matter if the entire world's against you. Truth is truth, even if nobody believes it, even if nobody champions its cause, even if nobody shines the light of truth anywhere. And a lie is still a lie, even if nobody believes it. Steve says voting is consenting to the change of your own oppression. I totally agree. That's logical. Voting is consenting to and agreeing to their evil ways. It is, because basically, Steve, they got you over a barrel. Because what happens is when you vote, that's your voice. Your vote is your voice. It's you writing down on a piece of paper, or on a ballot, or pulling a lever, or pushing a button at a ballot box. You're saying, I'm supporting this person. Now, you might try to justify yourself and go, well, I'm not supporting everything this person does. I don't support all the policies that this guy produces, but I am supporting this person. I'm not supporting abortion, but I am supporting this gun law. No. When you vote for that person, you're voting for the person and everything that this person does. And this person will wage wars and steal money and increase taxes and increase the national debt and give more money to the military industrial complex and foment the drug war. And they will do it in your name. That's why I call voting the demoralization, dehumanization process, because you're participating in your own undoing. And when they do it, when they do the evil, they can say, but I did it with your approval. I did it with your blessing. I did it with your vote. Snail says that journey is about to end. Once you lose those rights, you won't get them back. Idol worshiping created Hitler. Welcome to the U.S. of Nazi Germany. I agree, but I agree. I've got no problem with what you said. And maybe you've got the best way to, break through to these people. But break through to these people, we must. Our unfortunate reality is that the greatest danger in the world doesn't come from psychopaths who want to rule. It comes from lemmings and order followers who want to be ruled. So it's really not us against Donald Trump, Kamala Harris, and the psychopaths from the Biden crime family. It's really us against everybody who votes and supports the Donald Trumps and the Biden crime families of the world. That's where, and we got to break it. We got to break through to these people. And I don't think that you can break through to somebody when you're calling them an idiot. You freaking idiot. I think we can get more flies with honey than we can with vinegar, basically. But I could be wrong. Brian, you've been wrong so many times before. Who's to say you ain't wrong now? I don't know. Let's have a dialogue. We could do it. We could have a dialogue. I'll have a dialogue with you. You have a dialogue with me. I'll mutually respect you. You mutually respect me. And then we could, hone our talents so we can get more people into the group that really thinks that rights mean something. I don't think it's a good idea to, and I say this, I say, hey, we got to protect our rights. If you don't exercise your rights, you will lose those rights. I need to try to move away from that, because it's a weak argument to say that you have rights. You can't prove that you have rights. I can't prove that I have rights. How do you prove something that's you can't smell, you can't see, you can't taste, you can't touch? How do you prove that? But one thing you can prove, you can say that person doesn't have the right to bar me access to a gun. If you do think you have that right, then you need to prove where you got that right. Are you God? Are you some kind of superior alien race? What are you saying you are that I'm not, that you can restrict my access to a personal protection device? I think it's more powerful to say, hey, none of us has rights, including the right to take somebody to interfere with somebody's freedom of movement. Do you think that's more powerful to say, hey, none of us have rights? Judges don't have rights. Politicians don't have rights. Cops don't have rights. No member of the public has rights. But I do know you don't have the right to come into my house at 2:00 in the morning, break down my door, shoot my dog, cuff me. You know how I know you don't have that right? Because I don't have that right. None of us have that right. Now, if I don't have the right to harm you, I don't have the right to threaten your life and take away your joy and your pursuit of happiness. I don't have the right to damage your property and steal your stuff. If I don't have that right, then I don't have the right to do it to you. You don't have the right to do it to me. Therefore, we don't have rights. That puts us all on a level plane. But saying that we do have rights, that gets us into some trouble, because now, yeah, we all have rights, but I just so happen to have more rights than you because I got this shiny badge right here and I can pull you over, but you can't pull me over. Or in the infamous words of Breonna Strauss, the psychopathic female officer from Federal Way in Washington, I can go 90 miles an hour. You can't. So if you get behind us, get the F out of the way. And if you don't get the F out of the way, we're going to figure out a reason to pull you over. Well, guess what? If none of us has rights, then Breonna Strauss doesn't have the right to pull me over or go 90 miles an hour when I don't have that right. I think it's easier to prove that people don't have rights than to prove that they do, because you can't prove that any of us has rights. Oh, no, we have rights because there's a 260-year-old document called the Declaration of Independence that says we have unalienable rights. Really? What? Is Jefferson a god? I mean, like, what's going on here? No. You don't have rights. If you speak in the inverse, in the negative, you don't have rights, then guess what? When somebody crosses that line and thinks that they can come into your house or pull you over or drag you out of your car or shoot your dog or detain you on the side of the road at gunpoint when you're trying to take your little dog Stella, who just got ran over by a neighbor, to the veterinarian's hospital, then everybody can see clearly that cop is a freaking tyrant. But when you start talking about rights and shades of rights, and I got more rights, and I've got the right of judicial review, like they established in Marbury versus Madison in 1803, where the judges can interpret the Constitution. Yeah, you got the Constitution, but we're the high priests of the state, and we'll determine what the Constitution means and how it's accurately applied. No, wait a second. No, you don't have that right, because I don't have that right. None of us have rights. So tell me, is it better to say none of us has rights, than to say we all have rights, but some of us have more rights than others? Badges, uniforms, and guns and black robes grant me more rights than you. No, they don't, because you don't have rights. So let me know what you think about that. And again, I have to modify and hone my own terminology and the way I go after this. I'm just thinking out loud, basically. The problem doesn't lie with the endless stream of puppet leaders. It lies with those who accept them. Yeah, exactly, William. Exactly. Perhaps we can have a live stream where we can actually entertain a discussion. There was a couple things that I wrote down the other night from the live stream. Some things that we can talk about are driving versus traveling, torture shackle stories. How many of you have damaged nerve damage just from being in the torture shackles? Those are a couple things that we can talk about. And I would definitely love to entertain that, but we're going to do that on another day. So I appreciate you guys. Real quick shout out to everybody who contributed here. History Bear. Brandy became a new member today. Thank you, Brandy. History Bear again. Stomper has been a member for 10 months. And yeah, that's another thing. I want to do a video on Hendry. Craig Hendry in Indiana is in an Indiana prison right now, in a holding cell, in an RAPE cage, just because he filmed cops. Just crazy, insane stuff. Wayward Son became a new member. Michael Gaglione became a new member. Steve Harola, $10 super chat. Thank you, Steve. Let's see. Wait. What happened? Left, right. Snail, Steve Harola again, and Snail again. So that's the quick rundown right there. If you haven't done so already, subscribe to this channel. Hit the bell notification icon. Give it a thumbs up. Share it with everybody you know. Don't forget to subscribe to my email list through my website, highimpactflix.com. And also, I have a new channel called The Disturbing Illusion. Let me just go ahead and give that a plug real quick. Let's see. Where is it? We'll just move that over there and move that right there. Yeah, it's called Here's the Deal. What I'd really like you to do is look at this video right here. I've got a couple of, I spent a lot of time on this video, actually. This is a video called A Very, Very Bad Abe Lincoln. If they lied to us about the Gulf of Tonkin and getting us into Vietnam, if they lied to us about the official story of 9-1-1, if they lied to us about who Abe Lincoln was and what the Civil War was all about and the amount of people who died, if they lied to us about, this declassified document called Operation Northwoods, about MK Ultra, about the CIA's involvement in trying to manipulate and coerce, if they lied to us about the fact that the CIA has infiltrated mainstream media and has done so for the last 5-6 decades, maybe they lied to us about the start of the Civil War. And if they lied to us about that and they've erected all these monuments to all these political gods that we're supposed to be bowing down to worship and venerate, maybe they're lying to us about even more. And maybe this isn't even scratching or taking a snowflake off of the tip of the iceberg. So I'd appreciate it if you guys go. There's who has seen this video called The Very, Very Bad Abe Lincoln? Here's the video. Here's the link right there again. Put a 1 in the room if you've seen this video. I guarantee it's going to be worth every second of the 6 minutes and 54 seconds. And there was another one that I did that talks about capitalism. Capitalism is evil. I'm not saying it is. I'm saying people are saying it is. So what is capitalism? And do we truly have free market capitalism today? So I'm trying to make these educational videos and I'm trying to make them very interesting. What's up, Jamie Todd? Thank you. But if you guys can help me, I'm trying to get this channel off the ground and it doesn't seem to be going anywhere. I've already had it for like 4 or 5 months. It's only got 13,000 subscribers. So if you want to go over there, I've got a couple of things that you might want to take a look at. Also, you may not be aware that I've done a lot of man on the street interviews like this one right here, where I talked to this homeless lady, and she was spitting some serious truth, man. You should really take a look at what she says here. It's only got, like, I see people put these man on the streets that there's no substance to them, and they're getting hundreds of thousands, 1.4 million views. This doesn't even have 10,000 views. You tell me if it's view worthy. If you think it is, subscribe over there to the Disturbing Illusion channel. That's my political accountability channel where we expose the left versus right paradigm, dog and pony show lie. And I'd really appreciate it because I think that you are a quality audience. And I'm not saying that to blow smoke. I'm saying that because in reality, you guys have given me pushback. You've given me things to think about. None of us is greater than all of us. I don't just say that. I mean that. And, together we can carve out for ourselves a freer America, freer than we have right now. And we could do it for ourselves and our children's children. Did you watch the video with Candace Owens interviewing? Yeah, I watched it last night. I was a little disappointed at Candace's failure to push back and question, especially when the guy said that he was abducted by the CIA when he went to the back door of CNN. And I don't know where he went. Like, I'd be asking, okay, now you talking about the CNN headquarters in Atlanta? What specific, when was that? What year was that? So you got to the door and the CIA nabbed you and you said they put some kind of solution into your veins, some kind of truth serum or something. How did they inject? Did they slip you a pill? Did they make you drink something? Did they inject you with something? There's so many when I give an interview, I try to ask questions that I think that the audience would want answered. And I try to ask questions to put things together that don't make any sense. When somebody wants me to just believe a story, I don't just believe it anymore. I used to be real gullible, and maybe in some regards, I'm a little bit naive even today, but I feel like you do your audience a great disservice if you could ask the question and you don't. Like, I saw that same guy get interviewed, the one that Candace Owens interviewed, get interviewed by, what's that guy's name? PBD podcast, and also by Joe Rogan. And while I know where Joe Rogan is coming from, because he's all in on NASA, unlike Eddie Bravo, but I like the questions and the pushback and the, I don't know, just the critical thinking questions that Joe Rogan was asking. And I am by no means a fan of Joe Rogan, because I find myself continually disappointed at his lack of exposing the whole works, and sticking to his guns. He's highly inconsistent. So yeah, I did see that. It was very interesting. Don't bend over and take the government. I agree with that. Okay, Brian, agree with what you said. Let's see, what can we do? What can we do about it? Oh, if it is to be, it's up to me. You are the power source of the universe, Mike. You are. The world will change if you change. I mean, can you think about the power that you have, the power of your brain to actually think about something, to formulate a thought, to research something that you don't know, to really get to know it? Because, guys, there are so many lies that need to be unearthed. There's so many liars that need to be exposed. It's a 24-hour day, 7-day-a-week job, and it's vital. It is vital to the human race that you expose liars and you set the record straight on what lies are and what truth is. You have universal, unlimited power in your mind. I don't think that's a belief. You can see it. You can see it when you go out and you wear a smile. Make sure it's a genuine smile. You could fake it, but why would you want to? Wear a smile and watch how many people watch the reaction that you can do with just a smile on your face, let alone a kind word, a word of encouragement, a word of knowledge, challenging a presupposition, challenging an official story, like what happened on 9.1.1. Most Americans these days don't even know that 3 buildings fell in Lower Manhattan on that day. And one of them wasn't even hit by a plane. It was a 47-story steel frame office structure built to withstand pretty much everything. And yet it collapsed neatly in its own footprint, just like WTC1 and WTC2. How is that even possible? It's not only is it improbable, not only is it unlikely, you start asking questions. And then the BBC, 20 minutes before that building, World Trade 7, fell, they reported that it had fallen before it fell. Who gave them the insider information? How did they know it would fall when there was no indication that it would? It's like they predicted the impossible. So there's all these things out there. So how do we change we change the world by changing ourselves? If it is to, I know it sounds corny, it sounds like a cliche, but if it is to be, it's up to you and me. We can't change the world unless we change ourselves. And sometimes the hardest thing to change is yourself, because you've been propagandized. I've been propagandized. We've been lied to. We've been indoctrinated. Don't say that you haven't. You're lying to yourself. You got to start with the truth. It's like, I don't even know how messed up I even am. I am brain pickled with public fool indoctrination. I am steeped in the propaganda ways of the prostitutes of fake stream CIA infiltrated Operation Mockingbird MK Ultra Media. I have probably continued lying to myself. I have told lies. Don't even know why I did it. I've got a big job working on me. But then when you work on you and you change you can actually start changing other people. You become that more compassionate, understanding, empathetic, knowledgeable human being that changes the frickin' world. And yeah, you're going to have resistance, but it's just like a muscle. It's just like bone tissue and muscle tissue. It does not grow unless you subject it to constant resistance. Matter of fact, muscles will atrophy if you continually subject them to comfort and ease. They will get weaker, not stronger. If you want to become stronger, you got to challenge yourself. It works the same with the muscle. It works the same with bone. It works the same with your mind. You want a strong mind, you got to challenge your mind. You got to ask those hard questions that even you don't want to answer. You got to strike down the gods that you've constructed in your own psyche. You've got to confront the fact that you might be in a cult. You might be a cult leader. You might be spewing so much nonsense you can't even it looks impossible to get out of that dark pathway. The conduit through which you gain strength, in which you gain knowledge, in which you gain empathy, is the conduit of trial and error and failure. It's just the way life is. You know it. I know it. 2 cents. Thank you for becoming a member. I appreciate that. If you think that I'm saying something that is in error, we can talk about it. Don't get married to what you said. Don't get married to what you believe. You could be believing a lie. Now, am I saying don't have conviction? You know what right is. You know what wrong is. You know how to treat people. You know what it looks like when somebody mistreats somebody else. That's why we have this cop channel right here. You know when a law enforcement officer who's just a human being, that's another thing, is we got to wipe the cobwebs of cognitive dissonance, tribal mentality, cultic mentality. We got to clean it all, man. Because that cop's wearing a uniform and there is a purpose for that visual cue right there. He doesn't have more authority than you. I don't care what the system says. I don't care what the judges say. I don't care what the law enforcement officer says. I don't care how authoritative he looks. He doesn't have more authority than you. You know how I know? Because there's no such thing as authority. Because if there was such a thing as authority, then somebody's got a legitimately higher claim over your life and property than you. And they don't. They don't. The person who's got a higher claim over your life and property than anybody on this planet is you. And when somebody tries to take that away, they're trying to control you against your will and without your consent. And that is the kernel, that is the essence of criminal activity. In the realm of sex, it's called rape. In the realm of life, it's called murder. In the realm of personal security and property, it's called theft. If you steal from somebody, if you try to have your way sexually with somebody, if you take somebody's life away, you know you've done wrong because you wouldn't want any of those 3 things to happen to you. So yeah, if it is to be, it's up to me. Are you a powerful person? You are a powerful person. And you know one of the first things that a powerful person doesn't do? He doesn't gloat about the power that he has. Did you know you have power over other people? You exercise a measure of power over people, and that's not wrong. The question is, how are you using that power? Are you misusing it? Are you exercising that power on somebody else where you wouldn't appreciate it and you would think you would consider it wrong if somebody exercised their power over you in that exact same way? Then don't do it. Yeah, golden rule. Do to others what you would want done to you. Don't do to others what you wouldn't want done to you. Nobody has a higher claim over your life and property than you, and it's never right to initiate unjust force and violence over peaceful people who haven't done anything wrong. Can't we agree on those things? If we do, we got a very serious, very solid foundation of a start to make a better society. Because everything that is wrong with society goes against those 3 principles that we can all agree on. If you disagree, I'd like to know about it. Leave your thoughts about, thanks for hanging out. Thanks for supporting this channel. Thank you for being a member. Thank you for subscribing, hitting that bell for the likes and everything. We got to change this world. I don't have much time left. You don't have much time left. Because we don't know when we're gone from this earth. The right for me to swing my fist ends where your nose begins, and I wouldn't dare want to come near your nose because I wouldn't want that done to me, because that would be, if I start swinging, then you can take that as a threat, and I don't want to threaten anybody. I just want to be left alone. All right, guys, I'm out of here. I appreciate you. Love you. I hope you have the day that you genuinely deserve, and I will see you in the next video.